Did you see Coming to America too?
Yes, I did.
How was it?
I've heard awful things.
Okay, let's not do that. Let's not
That's
do
all I
that.
said.
Well, no, that's why
He's my hero, man. Eddie's my hero.
Eddie's everybody's hero.
Eddie killed it.
But yeah, I'm sure he killed it. I haven't seen it. I was Coming to America for me. The first one's cool. It's not like
You didn't like it?
No, it's good. Oh, but I
it's
think
great.
Life
I
is
thought it was
better.
great.
It's great.
Oh, Life is amazing.
I think
Yeah.
Life
Life,
is
yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's tough to do a sequel in 2021.
20
Well,
years
it's
later.
also tough to do a sequel when you're touching something as great as Coming
That's
to
what
America.
I'm saying. Like some things don't need a sequel.
Yeah.
Like I'm
things don't
good,
need it.
man.
Yeah.
But like on Breakfast Club, I think it was yesterday. I listen to them every morning. Charlemagne was like, "Man, we got early release on it." He's like, "I don't want to say anything." He's like, "It felt good because I seeing like Arsenio Hall and the whole team back together." He's like, "But it was just a bad movie."
He did.
He was like, "They wrote they
rushed.
wrote it to be funny, where they should have just wrote a good story, but not a good story." So then they had fans like calling in, like, "What's your opinion on of the new Coming to America?" And out of whatever 50 callers, not one was like, "Oh, it's fantastic." All of them like, "Yeah, it was too cheesy, too yeah."
It felt rushed. It was awful.
Well, I think what happened was they used the same formula from the first movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, it's kind of like Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, yeah.
So when Dumb and Dumber came out, they were using all of the same
Yeah, it was
things
like we
that
already
made the
saw
first
that.
one so amazing.
Yeah.
But the time that the first one came out,
changed.
it was
Yeah.
it was.
But that still
was the
holds
thing.
up. Like that still holds up. Like Dumb and Dumber definitely holds
No,
up.
Dumb and Dumber does.
Coming to
Not, I'm
America
talking
does.
about Dumb and Dumber
I know
2.
the new ones. It's like, but when they wrote Dumb and Dumber, it's like it's a good story.
Yeah.
and those guys are so funny. You're gonna find the funny in there.
Yeah.
But now, like Dumb and Dumber, and then Coming to America, it's like they were like, "Oh, let's write funny instead of let's write a good story for everybody to follow."
And they had a formula.
Yeah.
And they were just replacing
Yep.
dialogue within the formula.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I'm still going to watch it.
Oh, you
Still watch
should.
it, yeah.
You know, it's the most.
You know.
It's the most streamed movie of 2021 on any streaming platform.
Well, it's
Over that Jamie Foxx one? Soul?
Oh yeah.
Oh, damn.
Soul was great.
Well, I mean, you got to think,
It's
man.
on
How many
Netflix.
generations is Eddie Murphy?
True,
I mean,
true.
Everyone fucks with them.
Everyone
Did you
fucks
hear
with
him? Do you listen to Mark Maron at all? Do you know Mark?
Oh, I love Mark Maron.
Yeah, so he was on Mark Maron's podcast, literally my favorite podcast. He had Eddie on there, and it was great.
Just recent?
Yeah, came out
shit.
like last week. And Eddie and him talked for an hour, and he was talking about doing stand up. He's like,
Yeah.
I haven't done stand up forever since my Delirious special. And he's like,
Since Raw.
Since Raw. And then he was like, I had all this time off. And he was one of the reasons I came back. He's like, because I was making shitty movie after shitty movie after I was getting these Razzie awards. And he's like, and people forgot, like maybe they forgot I wasn't funny. So I was going to do stand up to show these motherfuckers, like, oh no, I'm still funny, man. And he's like, I also took a break from movies because I was just making bad movies.
Yeah.
He was like,
Thousand Words
he was like,
was
they
bad.
just weren't bad. They just weren't good. So I was going to come back and make good movies, which
Yeah.
Come to America, he might hide again. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but Dolomite was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dolomite was
was-
good. But and
Dolomite
then
was
people
amazing.
hate on, like, I think all the Nutty Professors are fucking great.
yeah.
Like
Brilliant.
All of them are great.
All of them were great.
That's the one Nutty Professor that he wished, he was like, he thought he was going to win, like, Oscar
Awards?
awards for that because of him playing all those characters. Doing the whole dinner table
The
scene
family, everything.
and
Yeah,
all
he
that.
shoulda. He shoulda won an
he shoulda.
Oscar.
Then he goes, that's the one he was like,
It killed him.
yeah.
Yeah, that should have killed him. Because
Yeah.
he stole acting.
Yeah.
Like there's never going
never
to be an
seen
acting
anything.
It's a cheat
performance
code.
like that ever again.
People try to do it
And
where they
that
play all those
good?
characters.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's so good.
He stole that performance. Like there's no way that can ever be duplicated
you-
or topped.
I don't know if you knew this, but they didn't want him to do all those characters.
Really?
So he had to audition. He goes, let me do it. He goes, what if I audition as the characters?
Wow.
He was like, I'll come in as each character.
Yeah, who's gonna be better than
every
Eddie Murphy?
And I'll audition all the characters. And he did it. And they were like, okay.
yeah.
Dude, you should
on
hear
character.
him on Maron because Maron's talking about how he came up in stand up. He was 16.
Yeah, I know.
He was
I know
on the
his
ro-
whole backstory.
He was on the,
Yeah,
he was
that's
on,
the dude,
he was on
yeah.
the road like with real like vet New York comics.
Yep.
And Mark's like, damn, at 16, he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. And then he was like, it happened fast for me. And then he's like, but that's all I know. So at
Yeah.
the time, I just expect everything to happen fast. And he said, then someone called him. Someone who owned like an improv or something was like, hey, you know, Saturday Night Live's looking for a black guy. You should audition.
No
And so he's like,
shit.
fuck it, I'll go up there. Gets it. And then Mark was like, were you just freaking out? He's like, again, like I was like the prodigy. So like, yeah, of course I got it. He's
That's
like at the time I didn't realize how
I gotta listen to this.
He's like, I didn't realize how big of a deal it is.
Yeah.
He's like, I got the job. I was like, yeah, of course I got it. He's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do first 48 hours. And
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna do movies. Like that's
48 hours.
Like Chevy Chase did it
Dude,
before
Trading
him.
Places.
Trading Places.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Man, Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you guys I went to Raw in
Yeah,
person,
you told
right?
me.
said that.
Yeah,
I actually asked you about it when we were in
Arizona?
Phoenix, but yeah, so
Most
dope.
amazing.
But you hear like Kevin Hart say, I guess Eddie throws a party at his house like once a month, pre-COVID like once a week, and it'd be the funniest people that we know of in comedy. Like Kevin Hart was there, everyone
Yeah.
was there in the comedy scene, and they said they would beg Eddie to do stand up because he was dominate. Like they said, he's the funniest guy in the room,
Of course.
And Kevin's like, dude, you gotta come back and do stand up.
Yeah.
And then he started to do it. He had his whole, he's like, I probably have 2 hours of material.
Yeah.
And he's like, but it's all notes. He's like I haven't been able to work it out because he was like, I was gonna go to the clubs and do it the right way, but COVID came, so now we'll see.
You know what's crazy is I would love to just tell Eddie that you don't even need to work on it. Because when he sits, you ever watch him on a panel?
Come on, yep.
When he just tells a story at the panel, like when he's on Fallon or whatever, that story, that gem that he says sitting down is
You got
him on stage.
dude. You gotta listen to him on Marin because he's just going from the hip, and it's his old school story is such a beast. Like
Yeah.
with some I forget who the famous guy was, but he's saying our thing was to like joke with each other, like, oh, I bet you won't do this. So he says he's backstage at Madison Square Garden with this guy. I forget the guy's name, famous guy. And he goes, we're backstage at a Diana Ross concert, and he goes, Eddie says to his friend, he goes, I bet you won't grab Diana Ross's ass. And he's like, why would you do this to me, Eddie? Because he has to do it. So in the middle of a performance, he gets on stage and they're like, what the fuck? And he gives her a hug and then looks at Eddie and like grabs her ass. and then Eddie says that Saturday Night Live, and it was when, I forget what, that, I want to rock down to.
Yeah.
So these guys have dreads and they're all in the Saturday Night Live. They're about to perform. And Eddie goes, hey, I guess the guy goes, man, someone told me that the way those black guys get dreads is they put goat shit in their hair. And Eddie goes, I dared you go ask them if they put goat shit in their hair. He's like, why would you do this to me? So he walks in the room and he says he starts off small. He's like, man, you guys got cool hair. And they're all, oh, thank you. And he's like, yeah, it must be really difficult to get there. And they're like, yeah, it takes some time. He's like, yeah. Someone told me that you guys got to put goat shit in your hair to get it like that. And they said it was like quiet. And the guy was like, no, man. No, And then he looked at it, he goes, why'd you tell me that? And then walked out of the room.
That's funny.
He's got a lot of great stories. Yeah, especially when you see him sit on a panel.
He's a killer.
Like
he's a beast.
Killer. Like even I watched his Inside Actor Studio. James lived in.
So
He's
good.
just like,
Love those.
dude.
So
he's
good.
just like especially he's just so chill, and he's gonna he'll have a great conversation with you.
Yeah.
And you just let him go.
You
Yeah.
know who his
let
hero
him go.
is? Richard Pryor.
Of course.
He said he met him after, like, not the drug Richard, like when he was going through like rehab, like when he's trying to get his life right. He said he was on a plane with him, and his album just came out, and he was getting on the plane. The steward was like, "Hey, Richard Pryor's on the plane," and Eddie was like, "Oh fuck, that's my hero, man." So he said he had a copy on cassette of his album. Went up to Richard, was like, "Hey, we listen to us on the plane?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll listen." He goes, "I know who you are. I'll listen to it." So he said he was like 4 rows back from Richard watching him. He said Richard had it on and was yelling, going, "You funny, man." Like, wow. And he was like,
That's
oh,
amazing.
shit. And then they get off the plane, and Richard's like, where are you going? And he's like, oh, I'm going somewhere in the hills. He's like, I'll give you a ride, man. And so he said he jumped in, gave him a ride there, like spit game on him while they were there.
What
and
the
dropped
fuck?
him off. Yeah.
Really?
Crazy.
That's an amazing story.
He's got a lot of great stories.
Dude, I'm telling you, he does it. All he has to do is just get up and tell the stories,
Yeah.
man. It'd be
But
over
it
with.
was
Have you ever seen him do an impersonation? It's the best impersonation.
It's so good.
I love Jay Farrell. I love Jamie when they do their shit.
They're not Eddie.
But I'm telling you, when Eddie gets a hold of it,
It's different.
It's
It's
different.
so different.
It's like he embodies it. I saw him do Tracy Morgan for like 4 seconds.
Oh,
what?
And I was like, did he just do that?
Have you seen him do his brother, Charlie Murphy?
Amazing.
It's insane.
It's insane.
You know that's how he got Saturday Night Live. During the audition, he just did a bunch of impressions.
Yeah, because
Really?
Charlie Murphy told him to go dude. I can't do Charlie Murphy. I'm sorry.
Just do it
I don't
though.
know.
Just,
No.
come on, please.
Just a little bit.
Do it. Hey man, we let Malik talk.
You see, I'm setting up now. It's your turn. It's your turn.
Come on, just do it. Just do it. Come on, do it. Just do
Never,
it.
never.
Please, just do it. Charlie's watching right now.
You know
He'll love it.
Shit.
You know
Yeah,
Malik Malik has a Charlie Murphy story that's just dying to get out.
You know about Charlie Murphy?
You know the rags to riches Charlie Murphy story?
Now, he started off in Paper Soldiers with Kevin Hart.
Y'all see CB4?
No. Malik is different. Malik's like, Malik goes, you know, Charlie Murphy had a brother named Eddie, right? What did you say,
Hey,
Malik?
did you know Charlie Murphy him and Rogan would tour together? They put them together, and Charlie just started doing stand-up. Everyone thinks Charlie's like a stand-up. He's not.
Yeah, I
he started
know.
really late, and he got famous off the Chappelle Show because he would tell stories. So they're like, man, you need to take these stories and do a stand-up act.
That's so-
They put him and Rogan together. But think about it, especially even then, Rogan's been doing comedy for 20 years, and Rogan. You know the headline, the marquee would say Joe Rogan and Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie Murphy would sometimes close the show out, but Rogan's a monster, especially back then, monster. And he's like a seasoned comic. So Rogan would tell him, like, Doug, I'm just trying to help you out. You shouldn't go after me. He's like, this just from a comic's perspective.
Yeah.
You should go, then I go, man. Like Rogan was always trying to help him out.
That's dope.
Yeah, they were like solid home.
Yeah, that's
Super close.
That's a heavy thing to put on Charlie at that time.
Monster, dude.
You know what I mean? But like I could see why the promoters thought that. You know what I mean?
Chappelle
Because he
was
was on the,
popping at the time.
hit show at that time. That was
But
just
also
huge in
remember,
that-
he's not doing
those-
stand up. He's telling stories.
No, I know.
And Rogan's coming with straight stand.
Oh, I know.
So
And-
it's like a different rhythm.
Yeah.
And Rogan's like, like it's off, man.
Yeah, and
You should go, then I go.
exactly. That's how it should have been. Those promoters have no idea.
Yeah,
That's
and
why they
Rogan was
don't
like,
see
it was
that.
an awkward conversation, but he's like, I'm literally just trying to help you out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show you, man, that I'm about to set that stage on fire.
and then you're going to go on, and you've been doing stand up for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna burn. But sometimes that's a tough pill to swallow. You know what I mean? Like, you know that who you are at that time. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
deserve this spot.
Charlie
But it's
Murphy.
like sometimes, you know, you'll come across cats that are very humble and will bow down to that.
That's why I'm so fortunate for Brian Callen, because when I started stand up, I had training wheels because Brian was on stage with me. Like, I'd go out and do my own shit for 10 minutes, but then Brian would come out, and then I have Brian who's been in comedy for 30 years,
Yeah.
60 years,
Yeah.
and Brian would set me up for success.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd be like, what are we gonna do? And he'd be like, hey, remember, and you just off to the races.
Yeah.
Like Brian.
Oh,
was
so
like-
you would tag team on stage?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
we
great.
come out together.
That's
and it was
great.
like a show.
Oh,
but
that's
Brian
great.
was so good at like making sure that I didn't fail.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, hey, remember that time we were doing this? I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
because he knows it's a funny story.
That's the cool thing about watching Brian when I was coming up is like, you know, because, you know, when I watched Brian, it was at the clubs. So, you know, we were all working on our shit. You know, I never went on the road with him. So one thing I noticed with him is when he tried new shit and it would bomb, he would stick with it and just let
Commit.
it. Yeah, commit.
Yeah.
And make it work. And if it didn't work, he didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? He just goes to something else.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to learn when you're first coming up. You know, when you start bombing right away on an idea, you panic. You know, you freeze. Well, what do I do next?
Yeah.
And then you have to like really learn how to
You gotta
like
sit in the
Be okay. Yeah.
you
Be
gotta
okay.
sit
Yeah,
Be
man.
uncomfortable.
Well, they
Yeah.
were saying Richard Pryor, like one of the things Eddie was saying, this one of the things that made him so special is when he was on the heroin, all the drugs, he was so funny. But he's always been doing that in stand up. So then when he got sober, Eddie said whenever Richard would perform at the Comedy Store, all the comics, like him, Mooney, everyone would go down there to watch Richard.
Yeah.
But when he was sober, he was trying to figure it out. And then Mark Maron was a doorman at the time. Wow. He's like, dude, I've seen Richard Pryor bombed like for a long time. He's like, but he would stay with it. He would stick with it, stick with it, stick with it.
Damn, what
and
a
then
champion.
eventually you'd see like 6 months go by, and then that bit's just it's his closing bit. But he said he'd eat dick for months.
Yeah.
And wouldn't give a flying fuck.
That's so cool. I love that. I love hearing stories like
Certain
that.
guys are still, I mean, Rogan's the exact same way.
Yeah.
He'll have a concept and you'll see him in the main room. You know, he closes it out. We'll all go on before. We have our bits from the road that we know are going to hit. Rogan go on there with, he has all his notes, he records it. He'll go out there and it might not work those first few
Yeah.
weeks. And
Yep.
you're like, God
That's
damn,
what
dude,
you
you
do,
know you're
man.
bombing
That's
out
the
there.
art, though.
And he'll
That
be
is
like,
the art.
excuse
Yeah.
me. And then next thing you know, a few months go by and he's just a fucking killer with that bit.
I love it.
Shout-
That's
your boy George. He what? That was his first
that
time.
was his first time ever on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
confidence.
that's the YouTuber guy with Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool to, you know, I offered that up to him. I don't like to tell people, you know what I mean? Because he's got a huge following.
Yeah, yeah.
So my whole thing with that is and I've done it before for other people as well.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you're trying to get into this game, like, do it the right way. Learn the craft, man.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone know you're going up. Don't tell your fans you're going up.
No.
Yeah.
Because the minute they start paying for tickets to come see you
expectations.
eat it,
Yeah.
they're never coming back.
Yeah.
So I told them that. I go, look, dude, my shows are already done. We don't have to worry about ticket sales. Just walk up. No one's got to
Yeah.
know you're here.
They're there to
Don't
see
announce
Joe.
that you're there.
Yeah.
And have an honest crowd in front of you.
Yep.
That way because if you're going to do it in front of your family, they're going to laugh at you saying hi.
How much time did you give them?
Like, man, it started out with 5 and then it went to 9 and then it went to like 15.
It was good though.
But he just appreciated it.
Yeah.
Which is like, some people like, I feel like when they get into it, they're like, yeah, I do stand-up comedy. But like, he really wanted to like be good up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
most
he
people don't-
appreciated it.
Yeah,
He always asked questions.
Yeah, always ask questions, all that. Like,
I would
Yeah.
fucking hope so.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But there's- I mean,
he better be that way.
But that's
Yeah.
that's a
fucking fire.
If you think about it, that's a rarity.
I 100%,
Yeah.
dude. If
Yeah.
you're not appreciative, like a lot of guys get in this game and
Oh,
they make
that's
comments
what I'm
right
saying.
away, and we are not the same.
Yeah.
You-
We're
you-
not
you
the
got
same
so
level.
much shit to work on, dude.
A
Yeah.
lot of people told me.
I used to take guys on the road, right? I would get like 14 sold out shows at the San Jose Improv, right? And I have an opener for come with me, right? And it's a guy. I always take the same guy on the road, right? And then at the end of the week, a tweet would go like, "Hey man, thank you all for coming out to see me." I'm like, what? And it'll be a picture of him at the Improv. I'm like,
Him in
no,
front of the
motherfucker.
marquee like this.
You're thinking
When
the
he cuts
wrong
your name out.
Yeah. Like,
all up in the videos.
He's like 14 sold out.
14,
See
man.
y'all next
Hey,
year.
you guys, let's make it 15 next year.
But even the
flash on?
fans
That's
are
gotta
all.
be
Is
so
the flash on?
Flag there. We gotta wait. All right.
The flash on?
Hold on, wait. We gotta wait for it.
Make it next year. Make it 15. Is the flash on? Am I saying still?
Your thumb getting tired, Joe.
so awkward.
Thank,
It is
be back
strange,
next year.
man.
Yeah, but no,
Stop.
that was the thing about George, man. He just appreciated this.
Yeah,
shit. Like,
he's
he would
cool.
ask,
Has he gone on
George
stage
Janko.
since?
Huh?
Has he been on
Oh
stage
yeah,
since?
he goes up, but like I keep telling him, don't tell people you're on that
is he
show.
announcing it?
No, he doesn't. He that's the thing. He listens.
he does
too.
listen. He does.
I don't know the guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he's a
Yeah,
solid dude.
really nice guy, man. Yeah, this dude right here, man. He's fun to.
Told you.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Man. Goes up and does his.
How about
thing.
he's selling out his own shows now?
Yeah, man.
He sold out Kansas City Improv. He sold out Austin.
That's amazing.
Which we're going back there.
Yeah.
April
That's dope.
22nd. Tickets will be on sale probably in the next few days. But Vulcan
Vulcan Gas
Company. I got 6 shows there. April 22th to 24th.
That's sick.
How about when I got off stage at the Laugh Factory? Right away, you go, bro, I figured out what you look like. I'm like, what? This is from a bunch of other comics. I'm like, what? You're like, you look like a Rottweiler who got his shit together.
Oh, you do, bro. Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, dude.
Grab that mic, son.
Look, bro. Look.